Well, hello there and welcome. I'm Otter, and today I'm trying something a little bit different. If you hadn't been able to tell based on my upload schedule, I'm trying to do a list video at the beginning of the month and then insert something else halfway through the month. So this month, this is that something else. Today I'm going to be discussing my favorite webcomics. I've been doing a lot of book stuff lately, talking about all of the different books that I've been reading and my ideas on writing stories. So today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I love webcomics as well as books, but I read them for different reasons, and I read different types of ones. How would I describe this? When it comes to novels, I tend to read fantasy, and I'm looking for interesting stories with a variety of protagonists that I can watch go about their adventure, just like watching any television show or something like that. Whereas when it comes to webcomics, I tend to read more slice-of-life romance that I could see myself actually living. Do I want to live all of these characters' stories? Not necessarily, but I definitely do a little bit of living vicariously through them with these. So all of the webcomics that I read are all male romance, and all the ones I'm going to talk about today are my favorite slice of life ones. I do read a couple of fantasy ones, but those are a little different vein, and I'll leave them for another time. So with these slice of life webcomics, there are 3 general categories that they fall into, but I'm dividing them up into 4 with a special asterisk case over here that we'll talk about in a second. But first, we've got tropey high school stories, where it's basically the same story every time, just with different characters. We've got tropey college stories, also basically the same story every time, but they're in college now. And varied adult stories, which the characters aren't in high school, they're not in a school setting, they are adults in the real world, living their lives in some sort of fashion. Those are the main 3 types of slice of life that I have gotten involved in reading. I will discuss them in a second, but this asterisk case over here. Whew, oh no, my hair. Then you have these asterisks over here, and those, they fall into these categories because pretty much every slice of life falls into one of these categories. But actually one spans multiple, if not all 3 of these categories, because it's been going on forever. But I consider these separate because I've formed like this parasocial relationship with them, where I'm checking them regularly and checking in on them more than I check in on my actual friends. I'm more invested in these characters' lives than the lives of my own friends, which is kind of sad, and if you're my friend, I'm sorry. But they have found their way into my life to the point that I feel like I am a part of theirs. So those are the ones I'm going to tackle at the end, but first, let's go chronologically through the lives of these slice of life webcomics. So the first of these tropey high school stories is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This one is a ongoing series, though it's on hiatus because it's being adapted into a television series. And it's on Webtoon as well as sold in books. There are about 160 individual comics in the series so far. It's in black and white, and it's been running for about 5 years, I believe. It tells the story of Charlie and Nick. Charlie is a young gay man in high school, and Nick is a closeted bisexual rugby player that he falls in love with. They go to an all-boys private British boarding school, I believe. I don't know if it's a boarding school. They go to a private all-boys school in the UK somewhere. And yeah, it's very much the gay boy falls in love with the straight boy. Oh no, straight boy is actually bisexual and interested in him, but they need to keep it a secret because he's not ready to come out yet, so they have a secret relationship. It's a fun story, even though it is extremely unoriginal in its content. One thing that sets it apart from other high school tropey webcomics is that it tackles the ideas of eating disorders, but it is a really heartwarming tale at the end of the day of this really overdone trope. The second of our high school stories is Always Raining Here by Hazel and Bell. This is also a webtoon. It's in full color though, and I believe they also sell it as a book. It is a completed series, so the 29 or so comics that exist of it are all that there is. I think I read this in a day or two. It's not a long read at all. This one is slightly different. It doesn't follow the falling in love with a straight boy trope. Instead, it is an unrequited lust turned friendship story, I guess I would say. It follows the tale of two boys, Carter and Adrian. And Carter at the beginning is really horny, and Adrian is the only other gay guy at their school. So he decides to go and hit on him really, really hard, and it goes so wrong. And Adrian is not interested in the slightest. And then Carter backtracks and tries to be like, oh, okay, you're right, maybe we shouldn't just sleep together. How about I take you on a date? And Adrian still wants nothing to do with it. But their being at odds develops into an unlikely friendship as Carter helps Adrian with some of the things for the theater club and things like that. It is a cute story. I do like that it bucks the tradition of both of them automatically being in love with each other and this amazing romance. Instead, it's kind of this awkward meeting and uncomfortable situations, and then backpedaling from those. And at the end, you get to know these characters as they get to know each other, and it's a fun little story. I definitely enjoyed it, and I think you might too. And we're graduating and moving on up to college with our first college webcomic, Check Please, by, I'm so sorry I'm going to mispronounce this, but Ngozi Ukazu. This is the first on this list that's not on Webtoon. It is its own independent comic on its own website, which is checkpleasecomic.com. It's also available to purchase in book form. This is a full color comic that is completed. This one takes place over Eric's 4 years in college, and it's broken down into 4 seasons. Each of those has 20 to 26 individual episodes, and each episode is about 5 to 10 comics long. So it's a lot of material, but it's definitely a different way of reading than the just never-ending stream that a lot of webcomics tend to be, because this one really is broken up into little story arcs for you, nice and neatly. Check Please tells the story of Eric Biddle, a young man who is going to college and playing on the hockey team. It's kind of like a webcomic form of a sports anime, you could almost say, except it's not really about them playing sports, so it's not at all. Ignore that I said that. It's a romance slice of life still, about Eric falling in love with his team captain, who is in the closet. Crazy, I know. This one's a lot of fun. You get to learn a little bit about hockey, but it's not too much about hockey that if you don't like it, you'll be fine. It's more about the characters, I promise. But yeah, definitely a fun one. Our next college webcomic is called The Tea Club by Jamsino, I think is how you pronounce it. This one is another webtoon. It's a full color ongoing series that at the time of recording has about 30 individual comics released for it. I'm at the beginning of chapter 2 with it. It's a fresh story to me, and I have no clue where it's going, which is exciting. It tells the tale of Leo, a Italian exchange student doing a semester abroad in the UK, I believe in Scotland. And there he meets Michael, a Scottish student up there in Edinburgh, who they have an awkward meet cute that they just keep having awkward situations happening to them as they're flirting with each other a little bit. but not, but yes, but they're embarrassed about it. This one is interesting because I'm pretty sure that it's written by someone who is Italian. At least the English in it doesn't always make the most sense, but you get a feel of the direction they're going, and it's mostly a visual story anyways, so the grammar isn't the most important thing to me in a webcomic. Yeah, this one's, I barely scratched the surface on it, but so far I'm really enjoying it, and I'm interested to see where it goes, and this is the first ongoing one that's actually releasing. It comes out on Sundays on Webtoon. And we've finished college and we're moving on up to the adults, or the young adults who are fresh out of college, should I say, with the Less Than Epic Adventures of TJ and Amal by E.K. Weaver. This is a completed series. It's been completed for a while now. I think I read it like 4 years ago. It's all on a website, which is tjandamal.com. There it is. And it tells the story of TJ and Amal's Less Than Epic Adventure. Amal is in an arranged marriage, but he calls it off and ends up getting disowned by his parents. Goes out and gets trashed after that, and wakes up the next morning finding that he met TJ in a bar and promised to go on a cross-country road trip with him. The webcomic follows them as they drive across the country and get to know each other, and yeah, it's a fun story. I don't remember a lot of the details. This one is also in black and white, also available in books. There are some not safe for work illustrations. It's not porn, but it's like if the characters are naked, they're shown naked, because why not? I definitely highly recommend this one. I'm planning on rereading it soon. There's 44 chapters to it, so there's a decent chunk of story there. I'm not exactly sure how many comics per chapter because it's been a while on it, but I'm definitely excited to go back and reread this one and get to know these characters again. And our next story, centering around adults, is Life Outside the Circle by H.P. Lekkonen. This one is a completed series. It's also on Webtoon, and I believe available as a book as well. This one's in black and white, and it's on the shorter side. It's only about 40 individual comics or so. I reread it in a day just this week, actually. It tells the story of Sammy, a gay trans man from Helsinki. There we go. Takes place in Finland. Gay trans man from Helsinki who moves out into the middle of nowhere into the countryside to re-spark his artistic flair, I guess you would say. And he ends up moving in next door to a single dad who, surprise, surprise, is closeted and bisexual, and they fall in love. It's a really cute story that shows it's much more about general relationships than anything else. It's Sammy and Juha, I think is how you pronounce his name. I'm a quarter Finnish, but I can't pronounce Finnish words to save my life, or Finnish names. But yeah, it focuses in on their relationship and Sammy learning what it's like to live in the middle of nowhere after spending his entire life in a city, and then taking the family into the city for the first time, and the country folk adjusting to the city, and then meeting somewhere in the middle for them. It's a really cute story. It's short, easily digestible, and I highly recommend it. And we're finally there. I get to introduce you to my parasocial relationship asterisks webcomics, my favorite webcomics, basically, the ones that I check religiously. Each of them updates twice a week, and yeah, I feel like I'm a part of these stories, or they're a part of my life, at least. The first one is Boyfriends by Refrainbow. This one is a webtoon series that is relatively new. It's ongoing. It updates on Tuesdays and Fridays, and it's in full color. See, there's only about 70-ish individual comics at the time of recording, but like I said, updates twice a week, so that number increases quickly. This is the only one that's about a polyamorous relationship. It's about 4 boys in college that, 4 people in college that all find each other attractive. It starts off with really interesting meet-cutes between all of them, and then pretty quickly they end up all dating each other. And there aren't really big plot things happening in this. After they get together, they're just living their college life, and it's fun to just check in on them. The characters are all unnamed. Instead, the author uses a little cartoon of their face where a name would be in text, which is a lot of fun because then you don't have these like names associated with them. You can just sort of think of them however you want to think of them. I don't name any of them personally. The characters are a non-binary anime nerd, a trans man who's broody and goth, a blonde, preppy, fashionista rich kid, and a tall, strong jock. And yeah, they're all overarching stereotypes in character form, but it's a lot of fun watching their interactions, watching them each try to pull different aspects of the other one out, etc. And yeah, it's a cute, fun time that I look forward to reading twice a week for as long as it will run, which hopefully will be a while. I mean, this one is extremely popular. If of all of these on this list, you've probably heard of it. It's in the top 10 on Webtoon. I think it's number 6 at the moment. I'll show that somewhere up here. But yeah, definitely, it's a lot of fun to check out. It's a healthy, communicative, polyamorous relationship, which you don't often get to see. And finally, we move on to my favorite webcomic, Tripping Over You by Susanna Harem and Owen White. This is an ongoing comic that is about to end. They are on chapter 20, and this will be their final chapter. It should end probably at some point in early 2022, late 2021, maybe even. They have said that they are planning a sequel comic that jumps forward in time to follow, but this one has been going on for close to a decade. I think it started in around 2013. Yeah, something like that. It is, like I said, 20 chapters long. Each chapter has something like 40 or so individual comics in it. It's updated twice weekly as well, in full color as well. And yeah, this one, there's just so much content here. It took me so long to catch up because I started reading this during lockdown, so a year and a half ago or so. And yeah, there was just so much to get through, but it was so rewarding to do so. This tells the story of 2 young men, Milo and Liam, who meet in, I forget if it's high school or college. This might actually span all 3 categories. They definitely go to college together, and they might meet their senior year of high school. It's been a while, and I've read a lot about their story since then. Where I'm currently at in the story, they are young adults fresh out of college, figuring out their careers. It starts off with a, oh, I like him, oh, he's not out, secret relationship type deal. But it quickly moves past that, and honestly, this is the healthiest depiction of a relationship that I have seen. Like, they have had so much thrown at them in this time period, and they always handle it with open communication and honesty, which is really refreshing that there's not this whole push for drama through lying and things like that. Like, yes, at the beginning there is a secret relationship, but like I said, over pretty quickly. This one is fun because these characters, they just, I don't know, I live vicariously through their relationship as a single person. I wish I had a relationship like this because it is far healthier than any relationship I've ever had. It's also interesting because this is written by a couple themselves who claim to have invented these characters as a way of first flirting when they first started to get together. So you're sort of seeing reflections of their real relationship in these characters, which is a lot of fun. I honestly love this story, and I'm so happy that they're doing a sequel series because I don't know what I would do if it just ended and the characters went away forever. They're part of my life. But they need to jump forward in time because each of the individual comics doesn't take up an entire story arc. It's a smaller chunk of the arc. So they started in like 2013-ish, and I believe it's set initially in 2008. And where they are in the story right now, the characters are in 2011. Like, the characters haven't even gotten to the year that the comic started. And yeah, we are living a decade after this is taking place. So the authors, I believe, are jumping forward to closer to the present. This one is available to read for free on their website, trippingoveryou.com. I believe they also sell it in books, but another fun thing that they sell on their website is supplemental comics of the NSFW 18+ variety. These are probably the most wholesome porn I have ever laid eyes on, and definitely worth a read. They actually fit in the timeline in certain spots, and it's a couple bucks for each one, and I definitely enjoyed them. But you do you. If you're not looking for wholesome porn, then maybe you don't buy the wholesome porn. But yeah, this one, honestly, my favorite webcomic. You just read it. Trust me, it's fun. It's good. I love it. And there we go. Those are my favorite webcomics. I hope that you check them out if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments what some of your favorite webcomics are, especially if they are male, romance, slice of life, because I'm always looking for more to read, especially since most of these have finished or are about to finish. I need more. Give me more. Tell me what to read. At some point in the future, maybe I'll talk about the handful of fantasy ones that I read, but there's only like 2 or 3, so it won't be as extensive of a list, to say the least. Hopefully I haven't rambled on too awkwardly here. Yeah, maybe I'll do little unscripted rambles about different things that I enjoy in the future for these non-list videos. We'll see. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Have a good one. Siren, 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 siren. I just want to be done recording.